might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.
Hi, good morning. Newton Insider, episode 5. We have an amazing panel today from our Coldwell Banker Newton office, and we're answering the questions: why we became realtors, what we love about our jobs, and just what does it take to be a realtor. We have David Gordon, Deb Stein, Kara Apostolica, Karen Edgers, and Valerie Wastcoat. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining, and let's get going.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, David, why did you decide to become a realtor, and what do you love about your job?
I originally started or explored being a realtor about 20 years ago, which is about the time I've been in the business. And originally it was looking for a job that I basically made, my rewards were there. I wasn't capped out by salary. I wasn't worried about, bonus, how the company was doing. And I've been self-employed since the day out of college. I thought it was a great opportunity. The one thing I didn't realize, which a job had become, is that as a realtor, helping people make crucial decisions in buying and selling a home that impacts their life to such a great extent, financially, especially first-time buyers, where it's their biggest asset. It's really a stepping stone to personal financial wealth, and helping give the good guidance for them to make great decisions in time really makes you feel great.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Kara, when did you become a realtor? Why, and what do you love about it?
I feel as though I'm a very people person. I love talking with people. I'm a very compassionate person, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and my husband at the time was a real estate attorney, and he said, you should go into real estate. You have a great personality, you're outgoing. So I gave it some thought, and I said, what the heck, what do I have to lose? So I tried, and I remember being so nervous when I first started. How am I ever going to get my first client? People are going to know that I'm new. How is anybody going to call me out of the blue and say, Kara, help me find a home? Never going to get a client. Well, 4 or 5 months later, I had my first rental, and then the rental turned into a sale. And I remember not sleeping because I was so nervous about, checking all the boxes. Am I going to do this right? Am I going to make a mistake? Am I going to screw this deal up? And, it's so true that if you work hard and you are honest and you care about your clients will follow. It really will happen. And I used to always say to myself, but there's so many agents out there that have been doing it for 15, 20, 25 and plus years. Why is somebody going to pick me if I'm fairly new? And it really does happen. If you care and you work hard, like I said, it will happen.
No,
so overall, right. I love my job and I love what I do. That's
great. And Deb, when did you get started?
I got started in '83. I had 2 young kids. They were in daycare, but I did need the flexibility sometimes to get them to the doctor or to a haircut or something. So that worked out well. And I basically went in for very, well, first of all, I want to agree with David. It was great to go into a field where you could determine how hard you worked and how much you made. And for women, especially at that time, there were so many darn glass ceilings that it was great to go into a field, residential real estate, where women had no glass ceilings. As a matter of fact, women were the predominant gender in the business in our area, our territory. So that felt great. But basically, I went in for 2 reasons that were both profoundly impacted my life. The first one was I really enjoyed houses. At the time, I had just founded a group in Newton for people who were restoring, not renovating, but restoring Victorian homes. And so I started by going to a couple open houses that were suggested to me. And when I was there at the open house, I said, gee, I could do that. This looks like a lot of fun. You know, I love houses. And so that's why I started the class, basically. But the other thing, besides just loving houses and seeing the potential in older homes, is that I'd always been connecting people all my life. I connect people to spouses, to jobs. And so connecting people to houses, it was just a natural thing for me. And I found out that there's a term for people like me. They're called dot connectors. And who would have thought I could make a good living as a dot connector? But here I am.
Oh, I love that. Thanks, Deb. Karen, welcome.
Hi.
How did you
So I started 41 years ago, so I obviously love what I'm doing. And when I started, there were no cell phones, there were no fax machines, no voicemail. I had to get up in the morning on Saturday mornings and call individual agents from the Boston Globe and find out their listings. Usually I'd get a busy signal, so I had to be very motivated to continue. And because there was no voicemail, the phone would ring many times during our supper hour, and I'd run out and ruin supper for everybody and show houses. When I joined, I thought this was going to be a part-time job. I had been home 7 years with my kids, and I wanted to go back to something that used my mind. And at the time, I had a choice of being a crossing guard, working at Stop and Shop, bagging groceries, or I took the real estate test after going to real estate school. And I figured, I'll try it for a little while, part-time. It's not going to be anything to disrupt my family. But boy, was I wrong. My husband had to spend weekends taking care of the kids. I'd come home, the house would be a wreck, and I could never say anything because what could I say? He was taking care of them, doing my job sort of at that time. At closings, which I don't see very much right now because of COVID, buying the houses that just speak to them, and the sellers feeling so good that their buyers love their properties. It's such a thrill, and I love educating my clients about the market. And Coldwell Banker has such great tools that I really do enjoy the technology that I've learned, even though it takes me a while to relearn it. But it's a great staff, and I'm really enjoying my job here.
Good. Thanks, Karen. Valerie.
Okay.
Welcome.
So like I think Kara was saying, I got into real estate in 2002. I was working in at a company actually with my husband. That's where we met. And he said, and I was working all the time, past hours, and wasn't getting paid for it. And I said, my husband said, you should try real estate. And I said, you think so? So his dad was a broker owner in Montana. And he said, I think you'd like it. So I said, all right, I'll try it. If I'm going to work this hard, I may as well work for myself. And I didn't realize how hard the work was. It was more than just working past 5 o'clock. It was, it's weekends. I love it though. Like it's weekends. It's, after hours. I'm up early. So at like 5 o'clock, I'm texting with my other clients that I know are up at 5 o'clock in the morning with me. So that stuff I enjoy. But that's how I got into the business in 2002. And ever since, it's just been really rewarding, I guess, to just help people and this is the biggest or the most amount of money they'll ever spend. So being able to be part of that and sort of guiding them through that process when they're overwhelmed and don't know what to do, and you can say, listen, I've got it, I'll help you. It's just kind of a rewarding feeling. That's how I feel.
I mean, the thing is, like, we are entrepreneurs, we're business people, we're therapists,
Yes.
we're analysts, like we do it all. And what I always loved about real estate is no deal is the same.
Mhm.
And the truth is, to Kara's point, there are a lot of realtors out there. I always say there's enough business for everybody, but there's a lot of people out there. And some people, it's you are a matchmaker. You need to be a good match for your client. And you also need to be a good match, for the property. And so there's enough people out there that you connect with. So trick question. How has your perception of the business and, being a realtor changed for you since the initial, day and year when you decided to become a realtor? So now fast forward for some of you, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years in the business. What has changed for you? And what do you think is the biggest misconception about being a realtor?
I think one of the biggest things is that, oh, gee, you set your own hours, you get to look at pretty houses, and it's an easy life. That's what I thought when I got into it. I came in from the sales that, hey, you work really hard. One of the things is, when you're waking up every day, you're starting anew. But it's a reactionary business and it's a time sensitive business. And to really do business, you are 7 days a week. I love what I do. Do I love the hours? No. But I love the results and helping people achieve their goals. So that's probably the biggest misconception is, oh, you can do it here and there, or even part-time. It's truly an all-consuming business.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that David really emphasizes, I think that lots of people think this is so easy. Things just fall into your lap, and you just make money all the time. And it's not an easy thing. Even after all my years, I still come across problems when I'm selling or buying new things that have come up. This person doesn't have permits for things they put up, or something, things like that, crazy things that I have never had in all the years. There's always something new coming up. But I love the fact that we have this technology. This is the first office I've really gone to and I haven't moved around very much. I was in one office for 40 years, for 38 years, excuse me. But the technology in this office just has helped me so much regulate my time. And the fact that I have so many past clients from all the years, when I send anniversary cards out, sometimes I have clients who are still living in the same houses I sold them over 25 years ago. So I said, gee, I must have done a good job then. So that's what I do right now.
There's never a dull moment. And it's true. Like some deals can be easy and quick, right? But at the same time, just because the house sells in one weekend doesn't mean that we didn't spend a month preparing it, think about the agony. That was always so hard for me, writing the copy, the description, 1,000 characters, right? So, making sure the photographer takes the pictures that you want them to take, and yes, now with technology, making sure that it gets distributed everywhere. Like, the reason the house sells in a weekend is because you priced it correctly. It's presented the right way, and you were able to manage 20 offers or however many. But at the same time, we have to be the ones to say, look, it's overpriced, or look, this is your offer, take it. And
one of the things that you just touched upon is, who knew there were so many things and that it was so time consuming to get a listing ready for market. People perceive, oh yeah, stick the sign in the lawn and run an ad or do something. There's probably over 1,000 little steps that you are doing for a listing from beginning to end. And That's the mind-blowing thing. When we actually sit down to do our checklist, and you probably have several hundred things there, and you're continually adding to it for what you need to do to, for the check down process, that's mind-boggling.
And also you think, or you go into it thinking, oh, you love people and they're going to love you and you're going to show them a house, and you spend every weekend and you leave your kid at home to go out with these people, and you haven't signed a buyer agency contract, and they don't know, sometimes they don't realize, but then they say, oh, Valerie, I went to an open house this weekend. I found my house, and they bought it with the other agent. That can be
Oh,
sort of a surprise. Not that it happens often, but it does happen in the business. And then you learn, okay, I have to educate my buyer and let them know how the process works, how I work, how I get paid, because we don't get paid until we sell the house or we close on the house. And they don't always know that. It's not necessarily their fault. And it's also can be disappointing if they don't want to work with you. So it takes a lot. You have to have thick skin in this business.
Yeah.
Not saying that happens a lot, but
you do. You're dealing with people's emotions, money, family situations. I mean, don't you guys think we become, like I did mention, therapists? I mean, we sometimes have insight into people's lives that even their best friends don't know about, because we
they
almost
start to
have
trust you.
right. Like we have to figure it out in order to find them the right house.
So to answer your question about what I think has changed since coming into the business in '83, well, I think that there are three components to my business. One is to inform, one is to educate, and one is to protect my clients. And the inform one, back when I started, was the major one, because we as realtors were the gatekeepers. We had these real estate books that were published every 2 weeks, and people would have to come into our office to even learn what was on the market. And we would go page by page with one black and white terrible picture and a brief data on a house, and we would have to decide which ones we wanted to show them. And we really had all the information. Today, that's so different. And so the inform part of my job has really changed dramatically. People come to me, they already know sometimes exactly what neighborhood they want to live in. They know the price of houses, what's been selling. So I don't really think that I am as valuable in terms of the inform, but the educate and the protect have become more and more and more important as time goes on. And fortunately, somewhere along the line, I forget what year, we developed buyer agency. Prior to that, all of us, even if we went out with the same people every weekend for 52 weeks, we worked for the seller as a sub-agent. And when buyer agency came, it was like a big yoke was taken off of me, because I was really, truly legally able to do what I had always wanted to do and serendipitously like able to do with my buyers, which was to educate and protect them. And so, yeah, that's what it's all about. People fall in love with houses because they love the master bathroom or the granite or whatever. And I'm there to say, hey, but guys, this is a really steep driveway and it goes into a really busy road. And in the winter, it's going to be icy and, it's treacherous, and you have a 2-year-old toddler. And do you really want to have to deal with the maintenance of that driveway and the risk? And I have to be the one to say, stop falling in love, And so that's mainly my job, is to point out all of the things that could go wrong with the house. And if they still want to buy it, they still want to buy it. But I feel like I've done my job to try to protect them.
That's awesome. I mean, look, this has been a great panel. And thank you guys so much. And I think everyone, hopefully after watching this, will realize it is a hard job. It is a rewarding job. You are an entrepreneur, a therapist, and a business person, and we're all in this together. and reach out to the agents that you know in your sphere, your neighborhood, for any help and support. And we're here for you, Coldwell Banker Newton. Thanks for spending the morning with us. All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you.